Good afternoon, Nigeria, and welcome to Aside Hot right here on Active Citizens. My name is Ifoma Oji, and I'm being joined in the studio by the ever beautiful Sharon named Chuku. Good afternoon, Sharon.
Good afternoon. How are you
this afternoon?
I am fine.
You look good.
You too.
What's your plans for the weekend? It's Friday.
Stay home, watch movies, and chill.
Just that?
Yes.
What you go for Owambe?
No, there's no Owambe over here. No.
Anyway, for me, I don't know yet, but I might actually go see a movie this weekend. So maybe you can come with me. Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Let's move straight to the stories making rounds on social media. Now, Senator Godswill Akpabio has called for prayers in the Senate House after being shown a disturbing video in the Senate plenary. The video presented to him by Senator Garba Maidoki of Kebbi State appears to show bullets spilling from a moving van on a major highway, reportedly near Zaria or along Zaria-Sokoto Road. On seeing the footage, Senator Akpabio expressed shock and immediately asked whether the vehicle and the ammunition has been apprehended. He then urged that authorities act quickly to prevent any potential security threat. The senator described the incident as deeply alarming and called for prayers by senators to tackle the issue on ground before the bullets get into the hand of the bandits. Let's take a look.
Ahmadu Bello University, loaded with bullets, on his way to supply to the bandits. For one reason or the other, there is along Zaria-Sokoto highway. Today, now,
the bullet was dropping.
The bullets were dropping and on the road. The driver did not know. And was still going, and the bullets were dropping. I hope he has been apprehended. So I use this opportunity to call on the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State to quickly send a team to go and escort the trailer loaded with bullets. Bullets are dropping on the road. The people are crying. I think we should stop further discussion on this matter and go into the prayers, because there is a lot of work to be done. So, there's no need to, whatever you are going to say, Senator Plank, these bullets that are dropping on the ground, we need to make a resolution on this now, before the bullets find their way into the hands of the bandits. Are you going to say that the bullets should not be? Okay, just say something now, because I don't want anybody to feel that he was shot out. Let's just use 30 seconds and say what you want to say, because these issues are too serious. And security really should not be discussed in the open like this.
Yes, sir.
But because of the peculiar circumstance that we have found ourselves. Look at, it's here.
Yes, sir. President of the Senate.
Get the IG and send it to him, and then let him.
President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues.
No protocol. Just
yes,
say
sir.
Say something.
Yes, sir.
Right. Shocking. This is not an ordinary vehicle. It's not a normal bus. It's not should I say a Camry or a mini bus. This is actually a truck of weapons, of bullets. And I'm asking, how is it that this particular vehicle, this particular truck was able to get into Nigeria or get into Zaria State without detection?
And we have checkpoints, right? And we have different checkpoints. You know, this situation, the same thing we talk about when, you know, you're supposed to do something, but then you end up doing something else. With our checkpoints, instead of being a checkpoint, it has been a money point, right? Not referencing money point, but I'm just saying, where you, instead of checking the buses or checking cars or vehicles, it's just an exchange point for them, for these armed men, whether they be from the police or the military, standing on the road. Because how can a full bus, it's not something it's not something you can hide. It's in full view. How can that truck pass by and there was no checkpoint at all? Like what the Senate president said, they better find out as soon as possible. If not, if it really gets to the hand, if it has not even gotten into the hands of this bandit, it's going to be a very different story.
I tell you, and this particular video right now is making rounds on social media, and a lot of people are commenting. The comments, I think, I don't know if I have some comments here. While we talk, I'll still get some comments, but this is one of a shocker for me. I never believed something like this could, actually happen. And I'm just going to ask, what do you think, seeing this video, and average citizens will actually think of?
I just think that the more things you see, it puts you in more fear. I think Nigerians are getting to that point where they're just really scared, and for good reason. With the things that we are seeing, I just don't think these are things that even the normal civilians should be seeing or hearing of, because it's going to just put them in so much fear, and that type of fear is not what we need to move forward.
I tell you. Now, in some of the comments, I'll just read. E11 Vun said, Nigeria is a cruise. The system is corrupt, complacent, and dangerous. How did the bullets get cleared at the port or cross the border? The migrants are amidst them there. Now, Damilare said, intelligence briefing from social media. How these people structure this country, like, I don't understand again. The government should have eyes everywhere monitoring the whole thing. I think that is why we have DSS and other security agencies. If they need help with satellite surveillance and readings, they should seek help from a tier 1 country that they share intelligence and help with all this nonsense going on. If a truck is intercepted, who knows how many have gone through successfully? You people should wake up and don't sink Nigerians the more. Now, another person here said, we Nigerians got a lot of questions that need to be answered. Where is the bullet coming from? And who demanded for it? To the border officers, how did the bullets get cleared at the border? Where is the driver heading to, and who paid them to drive in the bullets, and what company owns the trailer? You people should stop fooling us. Nobody else has the right to import such things in a country or to a country. If not the government, due to some legal procedure, it will pass. May God judge and punish whomever is in support of wasting of hopeless Nigerian lives. Untimely death will never be our portion in Jesus' name. That is an amen to that. And I am asking the same question that this person just asked right now. She's talking about the government. Is as if maybe the government somehow have a hand in this, because how is it that an ordinary civilian or ordinary citizen can actually make a move to acquire a lot of weapons, bullets like this in a truck, and the Nigerian government does not have a hand in it?
I just don't know, because it just shows that the whole sovereignty that they're fighting for, that they claim that they have, is being threatened before their very eyes, and they're really doing little or nothing to prevent that or to stop that. Protecting your sovereignty, it's not just about doing it on an international scale, it's also locally as well. This is a huge threat to the lives of Nigerians, all Nigerians at this point, whether you be an ordinary Nigerian, poor, rich, wealthy, a politician or not. This is a huge threat, and it's a threat as well to our sovereignty and to the power that we hold as a democratic nation. And I just think this is where we should see the government yielding or just showing forth its power.
I think this is quite shocking, to be honest. If the Senate House can actually be debating on something like this, then we ask ourselves, how safe will an ordinary Nigerian be if maybe the government, because we're seeing a lot of insecurity in Nigeria, if the government cannot even protect our borders, what is left for an ordinary citizen living in Nigeria? But I just hope that as the Senate House is already making prayers on this particular issue right now, that they will raise motions to tackle insecurity as soon as possible, because I really can't tell what is going to be if this gets to the bandits. Now let's move over to our second story for the day. Senator Ben Bruce urges lie detector test. In another story from the political arena, Senator Ben Bruce has challenged his colleagues to take lie detector test. The senator argued that truthfulness must be central to public service and that such tests could help restore public confidence in politicians. He insists that transparency and accountability are non-negotiable for leadership in Nigeria. Now, I think this is quite, I don't know if I should call it theatrical, but at the same time, I think it's making a lot of sense. Nigerians have come out to, comment on this particular video. Some people are saying this is what we need in Nigeria. I think it's time for us to move from people that don't account for mismanagement of funds, people that don't account for insecurity in Nigeria, and a lot of, comments here and there. And I just want to get your opinion as regards this.
To be honest, yes, it does sound a little bit funny, but at this point, this is what we need. I don't even think we need to even do a lie detector test before we know whether they're lying or not, or whether they're being serious or not. I think you can already tell. You can already tell from their posture. But for the sake of accountability, but for the sake of keeping things on record, I think that would not be bad. I actually stand with that with the senator on that. I don't find that very I don't think it's impossible, or I don't think it's bad to do at this point. There are lots of lives that have been lost, a lot of money that has been mismanaged, and we have no answers to that. So that's if they will be willing.
Exactly. I was actually coming to that, because he stated that he would want it to be over more like an international body intervention, that he wouldn't want Nigerians to conduct this particular thing. It's that same mistrust that we have in the system. Now, I'm just going to ask, this is more like a soft question. If this should be possible, what do you think the outcome will be, and do you think the politicians will actually agree to this?
Definitely not. They wouldn't, but it would be a very catastrophic outcome. That's what I know for sure. If this happens, if there's going to be any lie detector test, it would have to be by force, by fire and by force. It's not if you leave it out voluntarily, nobody is going to show up. I bet you, because they know that they have skeletons in their cupboard, and because Nigeria really doesn't have a history of accountability. They don't have a history. They don't know what it means to have integrity in governance. They don't know what it means to have dignity in labor. They are not just used to that. It's foreign to their ears as well. And you will see someone that the lie detector will tell you that you are lying, and will still come to try and argue for Nigerians, maybe call a press conference that was not true. You understand? That is how bad it is right now.
It is quite sad that at this point somebody had to come up with this brilliant idea of lie detector for these politicians, and it's just a slap on the face of Nigerian government over the years, how far they have failed Nigerians, that somebody will now have to think out of the box, and the only thing the person could come up with is a lie detector. But let's talk about this lie detector machine. How effective do you think it is? Because over the years, scientists have proven that there's possibility that the results comes out inaccurate. How do you think that is going to solve a problem of dishonesty in Nigeria?
To a large extent, I think it's reliable. I have not done a lie detector test before, so I really can't give a first-hand information on the reliability of it. It's just from second-hand experiences, hearing from people, not even hearing from people, seeing people that have done that. And I think to a large extent it can be reliable. So if we're talking about reliability here, I think yes, because if it wasn't reliable, then we would not be currently having the discussion of lie detectors. That would have died down a long time ago.
All right, now lastly on this particular story, because for me it's quite interesting. I would love to see how that pans out in Nigeria. Now let's paint a scenario whereby our politicians were forced, or they agreed to taking this lie detector what's it called, test, and you discover that a lot of politicians sitting in high places actually failed this test. What do you think it will look for in Nigeria in general?
I feel like Nigerians have used cruise and laughter as a cover-up for a long time. They have depended on cruise for a long time. So yes, if that happens, if they agree for some weird reason to go for a lie detector test, I think, and you know, they are found to have lied about the questions that they were asked, I think that would just open up. Unfortunately, I'm not really excited about that, but that is what we're seeing now. We would see that Nigerians will start making caricature of that, making fun of that, instead of, you know, taking it as seriously as they should, just because Nigerians have had it as part of their culture or a way of surviving. I would just call it a survival technique to just laugh over everything and try to make fun of everything. So I just think there will just be a whole lot of memes going on.
All right, now on that, there's something you just mentioned right now, and that is survival. And talking about survival, a major shake-up in security arrangements for VIPs across Nigeria. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently recalled more than 11,000 police officers who have been assigned to guard high-profile individuals. He recalled the recalled officers are now being redeployed to frontline policing in crime hotspots and rural areas to strengthen public security. As a result, the responsibility for VIP protection is now shifting to to the NSCDC, and as a result of that, we are now seeing civil defense corps. Several prominent Nigerians are now reportedly already applying for protection under this new arrangement. Now, security analysts say this move could help free up police resources for broader national security duties, though some warn that close monitoring will be required to ensure proper regulation and prevent abuse. Now, we recall earlier on, was it last week, the presidency ordered the withdrawal of almost about 11,000 security personnel who are being attached to VIPs, and we could see the VIPs now going to the Civil Defense Corps to apply for protection. And I'm like, does it mean that these VIPs do not trust these security operatives that are being redeployed to frontline to protect lives of people in Nigeria, that they have to start applying for NSDC?
I just think that it is. I mean, I feel like I saw this coming at some point, because even when we're having the conversation, you know, Sacramento said, well, the VIPs could apply for the Civil Defense Corps to get protection from them. And we know that after that, we saw politicians coming to say that they don't think the civil defense is well trained or as trained as their other security counterparts, you know, so they're not going there. But if you're having, and there's something major Sacramento said, and I'm going to borrow as well. He said it is not about recruiting police officers or telling them withdrawing police officers, that the reason these people stay with these VIPs because they get paid more than they get paid by the government. Now, the solution would be to actually increase their welfare. Now that I'm seeing police officers now migrating to civil defense, it is just because they are trying to sustain their daily bread. I think it's because they are trying to sustain themselves and that of their family and their well-being, because serving the government, unfortunately, the Nigerian government is not an honorable thing anymore. We've seen the loss of the brigadier general that died, and we know it's not an easy thing to just lose, but we just lost a brigadier like that and nothing happened. We've seen military men who are supposed to have received their pensions coming out to protest. We've seen policemen being settled with as low as 2 million naira after they have retired. So it's no longer an honorable or something, a dignified position now to serve the Nigerian government. And I think that is really sad, especially when you compare that to other governments. And this is why they are looking for quick fixes. That's why they're moving now to the civil defense.
All right, now a lot of people will argue differently from what you just said. Some people will say that you will never see anything like that happening in Nigeria, that everything always ends in the headlines. But we are seeing these VIPs making moves to getting civil defense to protect them. So does it mean that we're seeing more policies being implemented in Nigeria?
11,000 from the 100,000 they told them to withdraw. It's not it for me. This is an order that came from the presidency. If you're hearing just 11,000, barely 5% of that figure has been successfully withdrawn. I just don't think it's something to applaud them for. This was an order that was given when, and we're just hearing of 11,000 being withdrawn. They should do more. I felt that for a country, same climate, right? If you get an order from the presidency to withdraw forces, days after, we should be seeing remarkable numbers. I just don't think 11,000 is remarkable enough.
Okay, but do you think that this the president, as he has withdrawn, he called for the withdrawal of the security personnel, that is the police that attached to these VIPs, that he would equally call for withdrawal of this civil defense call?
No, he can't call for withdrawal of civil defense. That was not what he said. He said he gave the permission to use civil defense.
Okay.
That's what I was talking to you about when Mr. Daniel Sacramento was saying that they didn't want the civil defense because they feel like they were not as well trained as their counterparts. So they have the opportunity to do that.
Okay. Now, what's finally on this? What do you think this means for Nigerians? Because a lot of them are saying that this is beautiful if it's being implemented. That is the withdrawal. If it's being implemented, that these politicians, these VIPs, need to feel the heat of insecurity in Nigeria. Now, getting or applying for civil defense court to still protect them. What do you think this means, or what do you think Nigerians are going to perceive it as?
They should first withdraw the 100,000 police officers, is what I'm still going to say.
Okay.
You should first see the 100,000 police officers. 11,000 first, I will say it again, does not cut it. And for what Nigerians will think, I think they should be happy about the fact if they are being withdrawn, the police officers, because they are the ones that have been assigned legally by law to be stationed to protect the lives of people, not civil defense really. So that's where we have, those are the agencies we have a business with, right? So I think that would be a good move, but I really want to see the 100,000 police officers being withdrawn. Let's start from there first.
Exactly. Let's see how that pans out, if that will really stand in our country for the first time. Now, on the final story we have today, it's more like a video to kind of cheer you up. We've seen a lot of attacks on Christians and Muslims, but mostly these attacks have been targeted at Christians. But this particular video right now, we saw coexistence of religion, different cultures, and I want us to take a look at the video, and when we come back, we'll make quick comments on it and wrap up for today. think when we talk about unity or Nigerian being a one nation, this is a perfect picture to describe that. You could see different culture plays. We could see the Christian, we could see a mass servant in that vicinity, and we could see a masquerade actually dancing to the tune of the other church was it called music, and it was so beautiful to see. This particular video has gathered a lot of attention on social media, with people saying that this is so beautiful, that it is beautiful to see that people still tolerate religion while we are having a lot of insecurity in Nigeria, and this is what religious tolerance should be all about. But let me get your take, Sharon.
You said that all at this point. It just perfectly depicts religious tolerance, and I just think yeah, that's great. We need more of that.
Exactly. I think we need more of that in Nigeria. If possible, we need to stop these constant attacks on Christians, and we should realize at the end of the day that we are the giant of Africa and we are still one. But this is where we are going to call it a wrap on today's show. And as Nigerians, Nigeria navigates challenges in security, governance, and political accountability, these stories remind us of the need. These stories remind us of the need for vigilance, transparency, and cooperative solutions. Stay with Active Citizens for in-depth coverage and updates on this development. I'm your host, Ifoma Oji, and I did this alongside Sharon and Mchuku. Thank you, Sharon, for doing this with me, and I hope you have a lovely weekend this weekend. And as for me, I will have a beautiful weekend, and as for you, I know you have a tremendous weekend. Keep being active. We'll see you next week.